Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection is on the air. We're on the air for the next half hour. I'm Kenny Gallagher along with Jerry Burrow. And Jerry, I must confess, my hockey hair is gone.
Jeez, that means state high school tournament's over.
I didn't think I was going to cry in this show, but I might before it's over.
You almost won. You were right up there.
Devastated.
I know.
We've got a lot to talk about. My goodness, it's March Madness. UMD Bulldogs are in the Division I tournament. They are they're the second seed in this.
They're one of the four number one seeds, but they're two.
Yeah,
Denver's number one in the one seed.
Now, is this the USCHO coaches poll?
This is
rankings?
pairwise. This is pairwise at the end.
Pairwise rankings.
Yeah,
UMD number
pairwise.
2, Denver number 1. Okay, all right. And the Gophers, I saw they were a number 1 ranking. What is that?
They were the fourth in the pairwise. So there's 4 1 seeds, 4 2 seeds, 4 3 seeds, and 4 4. There's 16 teams left to win the national title. And now it's getting crazy because next weekend all these teams are playing at 4 different sites, and it's just great tournament action, especially here. The North Dakota got it nice. They're right down the block at Fargo, and that's where UMD's going. But they bought out all the tickets a couple months ahead of time.
Now, what is the Shields Arena?
That's where the USHL team plays. Okay. It's a brand new arena. It's only about 5 years old.
Now, the Amsoil can't get a regional because it's a home venue for the Bulldogs.
They got to change
What
that.
about the deck?
There you go. You're always thinking.
I throw things out there.
Right.
Whether they stick or not.
Plus, you can put 6,000 in there. I think that's a perfect field because back east, they can have a 6,000 fan arena, and I bet they'd have a hard time putting 1,500 in them.
Jerry, how does NCHC champions sound? UMD Bulldogs.
Great. It was the funniest game I've ever seen with the reffing, and there was 27 penalties in that championship game with North Dakota. And I saw one of the best tackles. I thought I was watching a football game when Neil Piant came in on the ice in 3/4 of the first period, and UMD already had a guy in the box, so they were shorthanded. And he just was skating as fast as he can right into the goalie. He didn't even try to stop to miss him.
Maybe he did.
Okay. I guess the ref said that only 5, not kicked out of the game.
Why wasn't he kicked out?
No one knows. Everyone thought he should have.
Should he have?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But they gave him a 5, so that helped UMD because they're already missing Carson Soucy.
Yeah.
Carson Soucy, but...
well, they are missing Carson Soucy.
Yeah.
What's his status?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't. It's like everything in the pros or anything. They just don't give information out. They don't want to, because if he comes back, they'll go for that area or something like that.
Well, they're very private about it. They are.
Right.
So the UMD Bulldogs are moving on Friday, March 24th, in Fargo against Ohio State. Is this a good matchup for the Bulldogs?
I think it is. I mean, Miska has to be steady.
And he's been steady all year.
Right.
I don't see any reason why he would.
If he stays steady, and UMD might have to bring some forwards to do a little work defensively more, because they got a lot of speed on that team. But if they bring their forwards back a little bit, where they do some defense, back checking, I think UMD is in a good position. So, but then the winner of that, let's say if UMD does win. The winner, it's going to be a tough game, that championship game in the West region there, because Boston U has all those national development team players on it.
Well, let's talk about Boston University. They're going to be playing North Dakota. Basically, it's a home game for North Dakota.
Right,
it's in
they
Fargo.
got the fans. They're going to have 4,000 fans there.
That's an advantage.
Big advantage, I think. That's good. I mean, hey.
So what's the difference if the NCAA says a venue for a home team can't hold the?
Yeah, it's not much difference, is it?
Yeah, because Fargo, granted it's removed from Grand Forks, but it's still an advantage.
90 miles away. And,
still an advantage.
Yeah, but that's just the way it ran this year, where the region was.
So Boston University 7, North Dakota 10 in the pairwise rankings. And the winner of North Dakota Boston University play the winner of UMD and Ohio State.
Yeah. Usually, like the number one seed goes to their region where they're in, to that region. Like Denver won of all the teams, they're number one. Most of the time, they would have been up in Fargo, but somehow they look at money now. They look at a couple other things now, but they all had a rule there where by Denver being number one in the country, they would be the number one. They can only have one seed in each region, 4 1 seeds, so one in each region, just like 2, 3, and 4. And but they decided that Denver is going to Ohio, Cincinnati. And a lot of people thought for sure that UMD was going to go to Cincinnati because Ohio State was right down the block from Cincinnati. Right. So you think they'd bring some fans in.
Well, Providence is playing in Providence.
Yeah. It's kind of funny they have different arenas there.
Providence will play Harvard in Providence on Friday the 24th. Let's go through the rest of them here. Western Michigan, the Broncos will play Air Force also in Providence Friday. North Dakota and Boston Friday in Fargo. UMD and Ohio State Friday in Fargo. That's a 5:30 start. Over in the other region, number one Denver and Michigan Tech in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, I like the NCHC teams, especially UMD and Denver right now. And
how about this Penn State team? First time ever in the
right
finals, and here they are up against Union.
Well, I think this is the first time for Ohio State too in the regions. Okay. I'm not sure of that, but I have to check on that. But it's good to see some new teams in there. And hey, Penn State really follows the fans. They fill up that stadium out there. There's always 6,000 sellout every game. So they love their hockey.
Massachusetts Lowell and Cornell. And then very intriguing here, the Minnesota Gophers and Notre Dame in Manchester, New Hampshire, Saturday the 26th at 2:30. And I got to tell you, that's Don Lucia's alma mater, Notre Dame.
And plus they know each other pretty good because they play each other every year.
And next year, Notre Dame will be a member of the Big Ten.
There you go. So what other teams are they going to get? That's the question.
Yeah.
But yeah, next year. That's right. It's already here. But you know what? There's a team there I like, UMass Lowell. I like Minnesota right now. They're playing pretty good hockey. So I think those two will be in the finals for their region. Harvard and, boy, you know what? Western Michigan's not a bad team.
No, they're not.
But their goalie has to be there, to get by because he let a few in I thought that he could have saved over the weekend. But, boy, that's a tough one up. I think it's going to be North Dakota and UMD again for the 6th time this year in the finals over in Fargo.
Wouldn't that be something? The winner of that game, if it comes down to that, would play in the national semifinal April 7th at United Center in Chicago, and then the national championship April 9th. That's 7 o'clock at United Center, and I didn't get my schedule, yeah. So now these games are on the odd ESPNU channel, right. ESPN3.
The North Dakota game with Boston U is on ESPN2, so you can. Most people that have regular cable can get that one, but the U and the News and all these other ones, I guess you might have to go to find a bar that has all those programs.
Or call your cable or satellite provider.
There you go.
Well, Jared, what else do you have on the college scene?
Well, this is the big time of the year for college, and I'm going back. I was down at the Target Center for the NCHC Frozen Face-Off, and Denver lost that 1-0 game to North Dakota, and on Friday night. And so the next day, what really kind of bothered me with having a third-place game, they got to get rid of it because Denver took their 6 best players and didn't dress them. Mm-hmm. They're getting them ready for the next week for the regions.
There's no need for that. in this
I mean,
tournament.
if you're gonna have that game, because people are paying money.
There's no need for that game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
They should first of all not have the game, but if there is the game, they should dress, unless they're really injured.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's not fair to the fans.
Well, what was the outcome of that game?
They won. They beat Western Michigan.
Oh, well, okay.
They didn't. That's how good this team is, or what?
They got depth.
Oh, there you go.
We learned that.
Yeah, and that's one thing UMD has over. Let's say if North Dakota and UMD do get together again on Saturday in the championship game, that's one thing UMD has over North Dakota is depth. But they got to stay out of the box, number one. And number two, if Miska can stay steady, only allow 1 or 2 goals, UMD will win.
Boy, Hunter Miska has really been a pleasant surprise. And I say surprise because he was a freshman. We had nothing to go on, really. But he has really, I don't think there's any question, he's the MVP of this team.
Yeah,
I don't know how you can give it to
say a
anyone
couple
else.
games that he wasn't there in the beginning of the game and let a few goals in, but
He's played every game.
Overall, I think steady Eddie.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you think back to the days even of the championship era in 2011, where Crandall and Ryder changed, or they shared the duties.
Yeah, and then at the end, the Ryder took over in that.
But Hunter's been there all year.
Yeah, and they got two good goalies at Shepherd. He was Frank Brinzik Award winner for, what year would that have been? 2013?
Yeah.
Something like that.
We were talking how this Bulldog team has 2 guys named Carson, unconventional first names,
Right.
sure, and 2 guys named Hunter, but just one guy named Dom. Yeah, go figure.
Well, next year, maybe we'll get a couple done.
And we'll come back to some of this talk here as we finish up, but what is going on with our Minnesota Wild, Jerry? This team was poised to win the Western Conference, win their division. Maybe the President's Cup trophy is the best record in the NHL, and then the wheels fell off. Where did the wheels come off, and why?
I don't know. They acquired Ryan White and Martin Hansel from Phoenix on February 26th.
Yeah.
And they came in, and White scored a couple goals the first couple of games.
Sure.
And the Wild won those 2 games when they first came in. But since them first 2 games, the Wild have only won 2 out of the last 10.
Well, it's the worst time of the year to go into a tailspin.
Right.
And if you recall, they took that large lead over Chicago. They had like 3-4 games in hand, and things were looking real good. And now Chicago is winning every game, and the Wild are losing regularly. And that loss last night, Sunday night, up in Winnipeg, where the Wild were down 4-0, battled back 4-4, and really kind of took charge of the game. I thought those are deflating losses, and they ended up losing 5-4.
Well, number one, you can't get behind 4-0. I mean, right away. They've been doing this all year, though. They've been getting behind, and I don't know if it's luck or what. They're coming back and tying it and then winning in overtime or something. They've done that so many times that they just can't. I don't know. That's not going to get them far.
Well, maybe defensively there's been a lapse, but whether it's the defense or the goaltending has certainly gotten worse in this lead stretch.
Dubnyk, he was under 2 goals a game. And during this stretch, look at a lot of these teams are averaging 4 goals now.
Yeah.
So, last 5 games, it's been 4 goals a game average. So
it's frustrating.
You're not going to win too many games when you give up 4 goals in the National Hockey League.
You're right. And it's very frustrating, from a fan standpoint at least, to watch this happen. Now, they will make the playoffs.
Right.
Unless they lose out here. But my goodness, they've got to start winning some games and build some confidence and find ways to win games, and they're not doing that.
They're 11 points away from being the last team in the playoff. So they're 11 points ahead. So I don't think that can happen, but I should never say never.
Yeah, it's unlikely. I don't think it'll happen, but somebody said, well, that they've found a way not to play for this coach. I thought,
Oh, no, it's not that.
yeah.
There's more to it. I think there's been some injuries on the defense, When you lose a 1 or 2D, that's hard to work the same way. The chemistry's not there. You got to switch partners and that. That is tough when you play in the National Hockey League. So one thing they have to be is healthy. And then I think this team will get it together. All it needs is a couple wins together, and that'll get them back to their norm.
I don't have my Wild schedule. Do you have a schedule as to when they're...
I'll let you use it.
Well, thank you, Jared.
Yeah.
I was down at the XL Energy Center on Friday night, but I went and saw a concert. And didn't get a chance to see the New York Rangers. I didn't play my cards right, but...
Saturday night, huh?
Yeah, Saturday night they lost to the Rangers. Sunday they
3-2.
lost to Winnipeg. Tuesday they'll play in St. Paul hosting San Jose. And then Thursday the 23rd, the Wild host Philadelphia. Friday the 25th, Saturday, a 1 o'clock start, they'll host Vancouver. And then they have to go to Detroit. That's an NBC Sports Network game at 6 o'clock on Monday the 26th. They'll close out the month with 2 games, Washington the 28th and Ottawa the 30th. And they got to get their wheels going here. They got to get some goals scored and stop that puck and start winning some games. And it's not unlikely that they still can't win this Western Conference, but they've got to start putting together a win streak.
Well, another thing is they're playing 3-4 games every week now because of that break. It's I didn't understand that break, and it screws everything up. And they don't get a chance to practice when when you do all these games. So they just want them to rest and get ready for the game. Usually they'll have a practice on the morning and the day before. They don't do that now because they're just too tired. And that might be a part of it too. So let's hope that they can get it together because they will make the playoffs, I say, no matter what.
I think they will. I mean, they would have to completely collapse not to. I don't see that happening.
No, because how many games do they have left? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
11,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they can just win 4 of them, 5 of them, they're in because the other team have to win everything.
Well, they've got Colorado in the final week of the season twice, and Arizona. They close out at Arizona.
2 of the worst teams in the National Hockey League.
And throw Carolina in there, even though they lost on the road to Carolina. So it works in their favor as far as the schedule's concerned, but they just got to get back to winning.
They'll know where they're at and by the time they get into April. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, they know where they're at, and hey, we're in good position. Then they can rest a few players, that have some bumps and bruises and banged up.
But it's interesting that after that trade, with the exception of those 2 early wins, this team has gone into a tailspin.
It has. But, every year, every team almost goes into something like that. Usually the Wild do it back in January.
Yeah, and they didn't do that this year.
No. We're waiting and waiting. Now it's finally coming here. Now people are starting to wonder, our beloved Wild, what's going on?
Well, it's disappointing, You spend a lot of money to go to the games when you attend them at the arena down there, and they lose. Yeah, it's
right.
But personnel, they've got it. Right. It'd be nice to see Charlie Coyle start scoring more than he has been lately. But and even Mikael Granlund seems to have slowed down a little bit.
Now, they got 4 players on the Wild already that have over 20 goals, or 20 or more. And that's Mikael Granlund, Eric Stahl, Jason Zucker, and Nino Ryder all have 20 goals or more.
Yeah.
And it's coming up close as Zach Parise with 16, Charlie Coyle 16, and Mikko Koivu with 18. Mm-hmm. So they finish off with all 20. That'll be 7 players with 20 goals, and they never had a team with that many 20-goal players, And so I think this team has the players, like you say, to go forward and at least win the couple series in the playoffs. But they got to get it reorganized a little bit and get it going.
Yeah. Anything that took place in the last week regarding the high school?
Yeah, there's some high school coaches that left the rink. They're going to quit their job. Minnetonka, Brian Urich, he was there for a good 10 years. Malden, Wisconsin, lost Doug Runkel. Malmsview, Scott Brokel. Totino Grace, this guy's been in there for about 30 years. Real nice guy. Mark Lohr.
He's gone, huh?
He just decided to give it up.
Jeez.
But he's been around. He's got over 500 victories. Totino Grace.
All right.
Yeah. And then Tartan, they used to be co-coaches for years. They've been there around for a long time, too. Steve Vermonchuk and Ray Sirakowski. So, and hey, some other news on state tournament and youth. And the Bantam AA winner was White Bear Lake this year. Bantam A, Edina. Pee Wee AA, Chaska / Chanhassen. And Pee Wee A, Johnson, Como, North St. Paul. They get a lot of big area there. Pee Wee A used to be just Johnson,
Yes.
Now they're going in the Como in North St. Paul. But congratulations to all those teams. And Junior Gold, Minnetonka. So congratulations to all those teams.
Let's talk real quick about Duluth East, because we talked about it through the season, at least, that Duluth East, they had a good team this year. And they were on the verge of another state tournament. But what did you see as maybe their weakness? And is this a team that is going to be able to rebuild and come back stronger next year?
I say their biggest thing was they didn't have a real superstar on the team and the forward that can put that puck in the net.
And they've had that over the years.
It was by committee this year.
Trevor Olson, Jake Randolph, Dom Tonanano.
Right, you had
Dave
a lot
Spihar,
yes.
Right. Okay.
They always had one or two players that, could put that puck in. But
sure.
Lately, they're not getting these really super players, So I think that hurt when you go against a team like Grand Rapids, where they weren't as deep as East, but they had those super players. When you needed them, they were scoring.
Sure.
And they won the state tournament, but give East credit. They played Grand Rapids to 2 overtimes, and no one played them that way. So if East would have won that game, they could have won that either way.
Yeah.
Who knows? East could have came back with that trophy, too,
Well,
it's
interesting.
It's a close call. Two teams, one gets 48 shots and one gets 47. That's an amazing game in 2 overtimes.
Well, what's the outlook for East next year then?
Well, if everyone comes back, they're going to be a solid team. They're going to be a team that's one of the favorites for their Section 7. But Cloquet's bringing all those sophomores back. They got a year experience now. And if Langenbrunner comes back, they're going to be an excellent team. And then down in the south, Andover's going to be better, and Elk River will be good, very good again. So there's going to be 4 or 5 good teams.
What about Hermantown Class A champs?
They're gonna lose in San Lin and Jocks and they lose some key players, but they got a lot left still.
They say that every year though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been talked about.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Bruce Plant, head coach up there, sounds like, unless something changes, that he'll be back. If Bruce Plant were to decide to leave, who's the front runner to replace him?
I've heard rumors where one of the youth coaches that's been around there for a few years now, that he would come up and take over.
Yeah.
They almost got it planned, I heard.
Okay.
So, who knows? Everyone thought before it might be his son, but I hear that's not correct. So, we'll just wait and see.
Yeah.
There's too many rumors go on. If they're going up, going down. What?
Yeah.
Who's the new coach? If he,
Any word on who might host Hockey Day Minnesota next year?
Not yet. Well, didn't we say Evelyn? a little while ago. I think Evelyn might have a
You know,
good chance.
Okay.
That's my pick right now.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
And by the way, talking high school hockey, you should see all the kids. I'll just name a few of them, but there's a lot more than this list. But a lot of these kids played in the state high school tournament. They're all out playing juniors now since the high school is over.
Yeah.
Casey Middlestead's down in Green Bay. His first 2 days, he's got about 3 goals and 2
Jeez.
assists and that.
Nice.
I mean, he's the best kid on the team.
Wow.
Gavin Hain at Sioux Falls, Blake McLaughlin, Chicago Steel,
Micah Miller?
Micah Miller, Sioux City, Zach Stetsko, he was the goalie for Rapids at Bloomington.
Huh.
Ryan Sandlin, he's at Bloomington. He's
Bloomington,
what do they call
Illinois?
him? Yeah.
Okay.
They got a USHL team. They
geez.
came in about 3 years ago.
All right.
Yeah. And then Jess S. from Lakeville South. He's at Cedar Rapids. Ben Myers, he was one of their top players from Delano. He's at Fargo. Let's see. Sam Walker, a junior at Edina. He's over at Lincoln. Noah Cates, that's coming to UMD. And Stillwater he played at. He's over at Omaha. A Duluth East kid, junior Ian Mayhew. He's down at Waterloo playing.
Okay.
What these kids do, though, they don't stay down there. They just go down on the weekends for the games. They don't practice during the week down there or anything. So
They come back home?
yeah, they go to school and they're going to finish their
Oh,
school.
I suppose.
So they
Okay,
just go down
geez.
there for the weekend because the season ends in about 10 games and then the playoffs, and most of them can't even be on the playoff list. So
Well, again, wrapping up the college hockey talk, the University of Minnesota was given the number 1 seed in the upcoming tournament and first round matchup against Notre Dame in Manchester, New Hampshire. The Gophers 23-11-3. The Fighting Irish are 21-11-5. The opening faceoff is scheduled for 2:30 on Saturday, and you can listen to that game on KDAL and WDS. I'm sorry, and AM and FM on KDL. They got 610 AM, 103.9 FM.
Right.
UMD will play Ohio State in Fargo on Friday, March 24th. That's a 5:30 local time start, and that's going to be found on ESPNU. And then final thoughts on UMD and the college.
I think if they're healthy and they play their game like they have been, I think there's a good chance they're going to Chicago.
Yeah.
But there's some good teams up there
Yeah.
in Fargo, so nothing's taken for granted, so they got to play their game, though.
Final thought?
I'd say, hey, find a place to watch the game, either at a bar or pick it up on extra sports channels on your cable, or
Yeah.
so that's about it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back here next week to do it again. We've got to thank the folks at PACT-TV that produced the show. Also, go to our website, mnhockeyconnection.com. Go to our Facebook page and like us there. We have a lot of content on there week after week, day after day sometimes. And we'll be back here next week to drop the puck.
Go Wild. Go UMD Bulldogs. Go Minnesota Gophers.
We'll see you next week.